In today's video, we will learn how to get started with Salesforce Automation using UiPath ReFramework. The very step is to create a Salesforce developer account which will be used for our automation practice. You can sign up for a free developer account here, that is developer.salesforce.com. Here I have created two test leads in Salesforce, that is lead 1 and another one is lead 2. In integration services, let's create a new Salesforce connection. Search for Salesforce, the very first option. Click on it. It will redirect you another window. Authentication as an auth 2.0. Environment we can select as a production and click connect. Okay, provide your credentials. Click login. Okay, it asks for your access. We have a lot of scope here. You can see the very first one is access the identity URL service. So we have couple of others. So click on allow. So it will take around couple of seconds. So once completed, you will see that the connection has been successfully created. Let's create a dispatcher process where the bot reads the Salesforce leads and stores them directly in an orchestrator queue. This means we are not applying any additional business logic or filtering. The bot's only responsibility is to push the data into the orchestrator queue. So let's begin. First, create a new dispatcher project. Let's create a new dispatcher project by clicking on this. Provide a name as Salesforce.dispatcher. Provide the description any, right? So I will provide Salesforce space dispatcher process. Provide your project location. I will keep it as it is. Click create. Here in the Explorer panel, create a folder called Salesforce. So we don't require tests folder, so we can delete it. And we also don't require this dependency, that is uipath.testing.activities. So we can easily remove dependency by clicking on this. We can also delete this folder documentation. We also don't require input, output, and temp, so we can delete them also. We also don't require this placeholder.txt file. So by doing this, we can easily optimizing our project folder organization. If I open this thing also, so we can also delete readme file as well as the license file. Click on refresh. Inside this folder, that is Salesforce, create a new sequence, that is read leads. Click on create. Start by adding a log message activity with the text, that is read leads sequence called. Now search for Salesforce activities. Scroll down and here you can see the activity called list all records. It will list all the records in Salesforce. Drag and drop. As you can see the connection as we created in the integration services window. So you can see here. Now select the object type lead. Click on this, go to the properties and create a variable and press Ctrl K and name it your variable name ARR leads. That's it. And if you can see the data type of the lead variable, that is the array of leads as you can see here. Now our purpose is to convert this variable to as an argument. Click on this, convert to argument. Now I will change direction as out. We can also rename it as out underscore ARR leads as a naming conventions. Correct? In the main.xaml file, you can add or update the annotations as needed, rename the state from initialization to init. Next, open the config file. This is our config file. First, I need to go to the orchestrator, go to the queues under the finance folder, name it as leads queue. Go back to the config file, go to the settings and rename this as leads queue. I can remove these descriptions. Okay. And also delete this empty line. Folder as finance. Simple. Business process name. You can put anything, but make it sensible. Okay. So I name it as Salesforce dot dispatcher. Now everything looks good. Close on this config file. Go back to the UiPath Studio. Click on it. So we don't need to change anything with this workflow. This one is not required. Delete them. Finally, open the kill processes workflow, adding kill process and provide the process name as in Excel and check on continue on error property. Don't need to change anything with this. We can delete this maximum consecutive. We can also delete this init all applications workflow. That looks like clean code, right? Minimize this and add your logic for calling a leads from Salesforce. Click on refresh arguments, go to this and create a variable control K and ARR leads. That's it. The last step, you need to change the scope of the variable. Go to the variables and as you can see the scope as an inner, so you can make it as a global to a main. So this is only a dispatcher process. We need to make several modifications to the ReFramework template. We do not require some of the default sequences provided by ReFramework, such as close all applications. So we can delete one by one. We do not require the get transaction data state for this process. Before deleting it, update the successful transaction destination accordingly. Click on this. In order to check, click on this. You can see now the destination is process transaction. The no data and new transaction transitions are not required. Go ahead and delete them. Rename this as dispatcher and delete the annotations. Now update this transition from dispatcher to end process. So you can delete this. So if you can click on this, as we are not dealing with any business exception, for this process, so we can delete from this. So we are only dealing with system exception. So we can rearrange them for better look, right? Just it's easy. Like you can use your arrow buttons from your keyboard and it's very easy to rearrange it. In the dispatcher state, now I can write down the expression ARR leads dot count is greater than 0. That means we have a records. Here we can write down the for each loop. So basically iterate a records one by one from ARR leads, right? In the expression, we can use the variable called ARR leads. So we have an instance called current lead, right? Inside the loop, we can add another activity called add queue item for adding an item to the queue. So item information, what we need to store in the queue. So for example, ID, I guess it's a lead ID, right? Adding another entry. So all of these are the Salesforce properties, right? The ID, then we have name, first name of a particular lead, right? Then we can add current lead dot first name. We can add created date for a particular lead, right? So we can explore number of properties like this, like annual review, city, status, company, and all. So for now, I can add as we have defined unique references in queue. So what we need to do, we need to go to the references, right, in the properties panel and click on this and add currently.id that serves as a unique ID. In the end process, delete the existing logic and we can simply use kill all process workflow. Now we are ready to run the automation. You can see 24 transaction has been added to the queue. Let's create a performer process where the bot reads from the orchestrator queue. This is the main part of the automation where we implement the actual business logic for each transaction. For this demo, since we don't have access to any other applications like SAP, Oracle and all, we will keep the logic simple. The bot will check whether the lead contains a test keyword or not. If the keyword is not present, the transaction will be marked as a business exception. If the keyword is present, the transaction will be marked as a successful. Let's create a new performer project. Create, performing the same operations like same steps for cleaning the code. So we don't need to do anything with the get transaction data. Get transaction data is a step where the robot picks the next item to work on. The robot checks where the transaction are stored. If I go to the property and see the transaction item, queue item, we can say that it belongs to the queue, right? So we don't need to touch anything with this RE framework because it's already pre-configured. Go to the process transaction. The process transaction state is where the robot actually does the main work for one transaction item that takes one transaction item at a time from the get transaction data, right? Now this time we go to the open workflow. Let's create a folder called Salesforce process leads, adding a log message again. Okay. Now what we need to do, go to the data manager, go to the argument, copy this one and paste it here. The direction is in. Now making changes again, plus in transaction item dot specific content. Click on three dots, open any detail and copy ID, right? Paste it here, dot toString dot trim. So what it does, in UiPath RE framework, specific content means the transaction specific data that comes from the orchestrator queue item. So basically here we are reading ID from orchestrator queue. Click on save. Now we need to check the condition. If I copy the first name, now we are reading first name from the queue. Dot contains test. If it is not contained, throw a business exception. New business rule exception. In brackets, you can add your exception. Wrong Salesforce lead. It's up to you what you want to write it. Basically, it's check whether the first name that coming from the orchestrator queue that contains the word test or not. If it is not, basically we are throwing a business rule exception. Go to the process. You need to drag and drop it. Click on refresh, click on this arrow, and you can pass in underscore transaction item. Click on save. That's done. Go back to the main. Now set transaction status. This is the main thing. Once the transaction get completed, it moves to the next one, right? But in this, if you see, this is the workflow. If you open it, you can see number of logic here. If it is successful, it marked as a successful. If it is an exception, it depends whether it's business or system exception. If it is business rule exception, go to here. Otherwise, is go to the right side. When I open this one, you can see set transaction status. If you click on this, you can see status marked as a successful. If I go back and see business rule exception, so click on this, you see here error type as a business, correct? Go back again, click on this. You can see number of code here. So we will discuss it later. So if I scroll down, so you can see the status as a failed and the actual reason for failing it. Go back. Now the final thing. So we are running the performer now. You can see two transaction as a successful because it contains the keyword called test. Now if I click on this for a failed transaction, you can see the first name doesn't contain the test keyword and you can see the actual reason for failing it. That is wrong Salesforce lead. So basically it's very simple. The thing is you need to understand the complete RE framework thing. I hope you find this video helpful. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Your support really keeps me motivated to create more awesome videos. Thank you everyone.